Hello and welcome to a new video on the Smart EnOcean Gateway. This time I will show you a little bit of magic, so to say, how to send out an email by the press of a rocker button on the EnOcean side. So first of all, we have to log in into the gateway, learn in the device into the gateway, and then I will take you step by step through the actions required to send out the email. So this is going to be an end-to-end demonstration. As I said, first of all, I have to log in the web UI. If you booted up your gateway and haven't yet found it, look at it on the network neighborhood on the Windows or on via Bonjour under the Mac operating system. So once logged in, I won't go through all these details. There are some other videos where I explain a little bit more. So I directly go to the EnOcean part of the gateway, and as you can see, there are no devices learned in. So first of all, I go to New Device, and I'm learning in the rocker button, which is fairly easy. By just pressing the rocker button, then the received telegram appears. In order to finalize it, I have to give it at least a friendly name, which in this case I would say I call it mail rocker, because you can see I already did this once, mail rocker, because that's exactly what's gonna be used for. So after giving the friendly ID, I just press OK, and then the device is fully learned in. You can see it here on the device. From now on, each and every press of a button on this rocker issues a JSON payload on the API, which is normal, that's what the gateway built for. On the other side, we have from the latest firmware on two software consumers of the API on board, which come out of the box. So one is a tool which is an open source tool which is called NodeRed. You can get yourself a little bit more information at nodered.org. And the other thing is a direct connection to the IBM Watson platform, which I will not cover this time, but maybe in another video. So back to NodeRed. The tool NodeRed is, as I said, actually comes out of the box on the gateway and is connected and is enabled. So let's move from here to NodeRed. Therefore, I go to the central dashboard because it's easy and I'm a little bit lazy, but I can just click here on the 1880 port, which you see opens a second tab in the browser, and I'm still on the gateway, just on another port, and there is NodeRed. NodeRed, as I said, is a tool for basically configuring workflows, using all kind of protocols and all kind of tools which are available here on the left side. If you know if this then that, it's a popular end user service where you can connect different connected devices and connected appliances within some if this then that magic. Basically, if there's an event, then there's an action. NodeRed is almost the same, but on a more developer style level, where you can use all kind of already existing nodes. So this, what you see here, is one example where we have an EnOcean in and an EnOcean out. So EnOcean in is connected to our API on the same device. If I go, for example, on the debug level, you will see as soon as I press and release, this information now comes out of the API and enters here NodeRed, which is basically, you can see that's the button A0. You see the button is called mail rocker and the value is pressed. And the second message was basically the same because there's only one device learned in, which is again the mail rocker, and the key is released. Obviously, a rocker button in the EnOcean world always has a pressed or a released state. I might go into details of the NodeRed in another session. Second, there's a node EnOcean out, where you can inject commands into the gateway, and from there on control actuators or any kind of device which is learned in. Short overview. We have two examples we provide out of the box which kind of show some flows. This is a rocker switch which at the end does something basically back into the API, and there's an indoor climate where you can say you have a thermostat or temperature sensor connected, and at some point he will do something, maybe send out an email. So our goal is with one click to get an email sent out. So now let's start. The point is, it's made for, let's say, if you know a little bit about how to program. It might be not as easy as if this then that, but it is of course way more powerful. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this whole flow and I'm gonna copy it, Control C, in order to create a new one, which then I will do some changes to this flow so that we achieve what we want. So now I've just copied it, Control C, and then I made a new flow here, and then I pasted it, Control V. So it's basically an easy, intuitive user interface. And I'm gonna leave everything or half of it until here. I'm gonna leave, and from here on I'm gonna delete it because we don't need this at the moment. So the back part will be deleted here. You just click on it, press delete, and here we go. So what it does is, on this EnOcean node, I can delete again the telegrams. On this EnOcean node we get the input from the API. Here we say, okay, do not react on anything besides a friendly ID which is called my rocker. This comes out of the example we just copied it from. I make a double click and I say the friendly ID in this case is not my rocker, but it's mail rocker. So remember, I go to the other tab. We learned in here, I go back to the EnOcean device. We learned in a device which is called mail rocker. You see the friendly ID. So exactly this friendly ID needs to be addressed here in order to get the flow working. So I say okay. So whenever I press now, we come to here. For each key we come to a switch point where you see we have button A0, A1, B0, B1, and all these 4 points here, well, each point is one different button. So we're almost done. I have to make a content of the mail, so I'm dragging, holding, you press the mouse button, you drag and drop this flow inside, or this node, and you just basically connect it via the mouse. You double click, and then we call it, let's call it mail content. No, mail content, basically the payload. So this is a rocker generated mail, which is true. Okay, so I have my content now, basically anything you want to put inside, and it gets by way more complicated. So you could also use like different temperature values and so there's a lot of stuff to be discovered here. So now that we have the content of our mail, we obviously need to send it. So I'm going down here on the left side of all the available functions. There are more functions to NodeRed. There's a repository on the internet where you can also look at what's available, and there's all kind of stuff which is available. And well, I don't talk too much. I just drag in the email node, which now has to be filled with content. So to the one I want to address it, obviously that's me. Here you have to take an email server which accepts your mail in order then to deliver it. So you might use any private account you have, you might use an account from the company you are, or basically, well, I guess you get the idea. These settings can be looked up at the corresponding service. So what I did before was just an email and web research on what are the ports and what are the settings for GMX, which is a German mail service. And this is my account there, and the name of it is Mail Sender. Mail Sender, the name is the name which will appear here on this flag. Well, the last thing I have to do is basically connect this flow to the other, which I all did now. And in order to get it operatively working, I have to deploy the new flow. Deploy means basically the same as save and activate. So I save and activate it, and that's it. We're done. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna press, and you will see short time after coming in a mail, and then we'll go to Outlook and see how the mail looks like. So I'm pressing, I'm releasing, and you see already message from NodeRed. There's a rocket generated mail. So now I'm opening my email account, and you can see basically my credentials. This is the text I wrote, and yeah, that's it. So that was a first demonstration of an end-to-end scenario where a push of a rocker button generates an email. This could be further optimized. As you can see, I just changed to the Outlook mailbox. I have two emails which have been generated actually, one for press and one for release. This is not a big thing because we are looking for different keys, and now you can start and go into and play around and get some input and produce some flows, or you could use Twitter or any other tool you see. Okay, so thanks for watching. I hope this was interesting, and see you next time on the same channel. Thanks, bye.